Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Liesia and today I'm going to be sharing my wrap-up of the month of July. So let's get into it. So in July I was getting over A Court of Mist and Fury by Sarah J Maas, which you have heard about already plenty on my channel. So I haven't been reading for half a month, but still I managed to get some reading done, mostly thanks to the Booktubeathon, but that's a separate video. So for the books that I've read during the Booktubeathon, feel free to click on the card that's showing right up here and you will get to see all the books that I've read during that week. But the first book that I read during the month of July was surprisingly a very huge book, and that was Drums of Autumn by Diana Gabaldon. It's the fourth book in the Outlander series. If you don't know the Outlander series yet, which is totally weird because it's really hyped on BookTube, and also there's a new series by Starz in the second season already following the second book. So if you aren't caught up with it, the Outlander series follows the adventures of a combat World War II nurse called Claire, who goes to Scotland to be reunited with her husband whom she hasn't seen during the war, and accidentally she touches one of the standing stones on Craina Dune, which is this hill with stones, all kinds of spooky fairy stuff, and she gets transferred into the 18th century Scotland, which is at war with the English. This is the fourth book in the series, so please skip ahead to the timestamp that's now on the screen if you don't want to hear my spoilery thoughts on this one. So I didn't really like this book at all. It was 1,000 pages long. I was very much looking forward to the fourth book because after Voyager, and if you've read Voyager, which you should because you're listening to me talk, you know that after Claire's reunion, long-awaited reunion with Jamie, Brianna was kind of it was hinted that Brianna was going to meet Jamie at some point, and this is where it happens in this book, so I was totally hyped up for it. I was also very interested in her relationship with Roger, so I found that very interesting, and the blurb on the back really does say that Brianna will get to travel back in time in order to save Claire and Jamie from whatever disaster is happening. Alas, what bugged me most was the awful pacing of this book. I mean, I didn't really like it in Drums of Autumn, but here it's getting really worse because what's mentioned in the blurb doesn't happen till halfway through the book, which is totally crazy because plot, progress, where are you? I hurt myself. So that was the first thing that put me off, but still I plowed further on because I really wanted to see Brianna meet Jamie for the first time, and I also wanted to see the Brianna-Roger dynamics, which I wasn't satisfied with in this book, because in this book the whole plot is driven forward by a giant misunderstanding that could have been cleared up by Brianna just saying a couple of straightforward sentences to Roger and to Jamie. Secondly, in this book, Claire, who was the main character in the previous three books, takes a total backseat, and whenever some conflict or antagonizing moment happens between Jamie and Brianna, she just shuts her mouth, which was totally surprising and out of character for Claire, who never shuts up. So I was really displeased with that. I found it weird that Claire had so much mundane moments to comment on during this book, but when it came down to settling the relationship between her daughter and her love of her life, she just took the back seat and was like, oh, forget it, just let them do their own thing. So another thing, since you've probably read this book if you're still watching this, what was up with Brianna's rape story? I totally thought it was unjustified, firstly because Brianna totally walked into the situation herself without analyzing it, and me myself, I just can't believe that she could be so silly. And it's not because she's been suddenly thrown into an unfamiliar century. It's not like those things don't exist in modern day life. I mean, a person has to be aware of pushing her circumstances to a certain point, and she totally wasn't aware, and I could have been fine with it, except that it was the basis of this whole plot, which totally drove me crazy. Plus, Roger really didn't help with him being all, I gotta have you, Brianna, but only if you'll marry me, Brianna, and I will never leave you, Brianna, but I'm gonna go and do my own thing and find those diamonds or whatever. I mean, what? No logic. no consequence, just giant misunderstanding all over the place. So after this book I'm going to take a big break. I don't know if I'll return to the series because I think like 4 books has been quite enough. And since I found major problems with the plot of this book, I've checked the next book, which is The Fiery Cross, I think, and people also have the same kind of complaints that they had about this book, so I think I'm going to take a back seat with the series. Please let me know if you've had any issues or if you love this book. Please let me know what you thought on it down below. After that really long book, I have spent some time reading Tessa Dare, and that's the second book that I've read by Tessa Dare, and I completely love her. She is a writer focusing on the romance, and they're pretty short always, but such sweet books, and I feel like whenever you really want some historical romance that will just sweep you off your feet, will not make you overthink it, but also will leave a pleasant aftertaste, Tessa Dare is really a goddess of this. I read the Romancing the Duke book, which is one of the Castles Ever After series, which I'm going to read, I guess. They're unconnected between them, those books, so you can read any of them or none of them, I mean whatever you want. And it follows a young spinster, I guess, called Izzy Goodnight, and Izzy is the daughter of a very famous writer in the realm, and the setting is kind of this medieval castle thing, and she is really out of money because her dad died and left her nothing but his written legacy, which doesn't really pay for any of her bills, and she was thrown out of the property that she was entitled to because her father didn't note it down in his will, so she really got nowhere to go, no money, no nothing. And then at this point she gets the news that suddenly some old man, like uncle, granddad, whoever, cousin, very far off guy, left her this castle, and she's like, whoa, I have a castle, that's amazing, I'm finally gonna have a place to live. And when she comes to the property, she doesn't really know where she's going, she's just aware of the fact that she has been left something, and she goes with her lost money to this castle place and kind of faints on the porch because she's really weak, she hasn't eaten anything. And apparently this castle that has been transferred to her as new property is actually inhabited by the Duke, who has never left, and she is going to have to sort the situation out. And I totally loved the book. I found it very charming, very funny, and very honest, and you know, it's kind of erotica. I wouldn't really say it's light, but it actually has a plot. First of all, its plot is really nice and fun and believable, but also the characters are fleshed out. I mean, they're not those carbon-made copies, you know, of the handsome hero and the swooning maiden that really just is longing for something great. No, those are real-life characters with problems, characters with believable backstories, and I just loved it so much. I don't know yet what's the next Tessa Dare book that I'm going to be picking up, but definitely will be reading another one pretty damn soon. So if you're looking for a romance or a pick-me-up book when you're in a reading slump and you just want to relax and have fun and enjoy yourself, that's the book for you. Also, it's very sexy, so mature scenes, adult content, very nice. The Lost Hero by Rick Riordan was the first book of the Heroes of Olympus series that I read in July, but that was during the Booktubeathon. But after that I have read The Son of Poseidon, The Mark of Athena, and the third one, I forgot, The House of Hades. Anyway, I read those 3 books in the end of July. I'm now done with the Heroes of Olympus series, but oh my god, guys, super fun stuff. I mean, if you haven't read Rick Riordan, why? Why don't you read it? It's so freaking good. If the Percy Jackson series was kind of an introduction and a really kind of kids book because Percy was 12 years old, this one is more of you know, teenage kind of story for kids that are 15, 16 and upwards, but it doesn't diminish any level of enjoyment from Rick Riordan's books whatsoever. They're super funny, and now that I've read all of them, I can confidently say my favorite new hero is Piper. I love Piper. Piper is amazing. I love her personality. I love the way that she uses her powers. Totally unusual for a character like her. And Leo is my second favorite, and I'm just so happy with everything, the way that it turned out in these books. And we got to see Percy and Annabeth, and Jason is really cool in this new repertoire. It has been a bit hard to distinguish between Jason and Percy, but I kind of got used to it. And I really enjoyed that this series is about the Roman sides of the gods. I feel like Rick Riordan can never run out of ideas, so I find it totally magnificent. If we talk about my favorite book, not out of all of them, but probably out of the three, oh gee, I don't know, I really liked Mark of Athena and House of Hades as well. I liked all of them. I really enjoyed The Lost Hero more than I thought I would. I don't really know. They're all such splendid books, and I want to see more of Raina, so I hope we'll get to see that. Let me know down below what books you've read during July, or what are you looking forward to reading in August, and I will see you guys in my next video. Meanwhile, don't forget to hit the subscribe button below and give me a thumbs up for this video if you enjoyed watching it. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye!